We are going to start recording now. Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about dinosaurs, comparative zoology with author Kelly Milner Halls, who is joining us from Spokane, Washington. This series of visits with Kelly is sponsored by the Missouri State Library. It's supported by the Institute of Museum and Library Services under the provisions of the Library Services and Technology Act, as administered by the Missouri State Library, a division of the Office of the Secretary of State. And we are so excited to learn more about dinosaurs with a real dinosaur person. Kelly Milner Halls, take it away.
So, good morning, kids. It's so nice to see my favorites here. Everyone's my favorite. Boy, I'm getting to feel like we're all friends. Andy and I are friends, and Ava and I are friends, and Emma and Molly are my faves, and I love you guys. So thanks for coming. I hope you'll come next time, too. Next time, I think we're talking about In Search of Sasquatch. I think that's what it is next time. So if you like Bigfoot, come back, because it'll be way fun. But today is dinosaurs, and I love dinosaurs. I will show you why I love dinosaurs. Now I'm going to see if I can do my share. I practice, so we'll see if I can do my share. Isn't it the 3 buttons?
It's
not the 3 buttons.
So in the bottom, it's if you hover, there's 4 buttons, remember? And it's the one that's black and white. That's
okay, got it. So here we go. Can you see it?
Yes.
Thumbs up if you see my dinosaurs. Yes, good. So we're going to start the slideshow from the beginning. Okay, today we are going to talk about dinosaurs with me, Kelly Milner Halls. I love dinosaurs. I have always loved dinosaurs. Well, almost always. I'll tell you when I first started loving them. I've written 6 books about dinosaurs, and the 7th is on the way. I love dinosaurs. So kids say to me, hey, why do you like dinosaurs so much? Don't you know you're old? And I say, yeah, I know I'm old, but so are dinosaurs. But I love dinosaurs.
I love dinosaurs.
Me too. I started loving dinosaurs when I was about 6 years old. And I love dinosaurs because I loved lizards. I live in a place called Spokane, Washington now, Washington State in the Pacific Northwest. But I didn't grow up there. I grew up in Friendswood, Texas, down on the coast. And there were lots and lots of reptiles in Houston, Texas. This was my favorite little lizard to catch. He's called an American anole. They're the little lizards that go to green to brown and brown to green. They were everywhere where I grew up. So I would catch them and let them go. And catch them and let them go. And catch them and let them go. I loved lizards. But I also loved exploring. Now, you do not have to go to China to explore. I did. I went to Beijing, and it was cool. But you don't have to. You do not have to go to Egypt to explore. You do not have to go to Mexico to explore. I love to explore my backyard. And my favorite place in my backyard to explore was my mother's flower beds. I would lay down on my tummy in the dirt, and I would search. Look very closely through the dirt to see if I could find treasures. And once, I found a seashell in my mother's flower bed. How cool is that? Another time, I found a beautiful crystal. Have you ever found a rock you just love? I found this rock I love. But the best thing I ever found in my mother's flower bed was this. What does it look like? It looks like a dinosaur skull. Skull is a name for all the bones in the head. Looks like a dinosaur skull, doesn't it? So I grabbed it and I took it into my mother and I said, Mom, look at the treasure I found. And she said, that's an amazing treasure. It can live on your special shelf in the garage. Because that's where a lot of my special things wound up, in the garage. But I love that little skull. It was amazing. Now, it looks like a dinosaur skull, doesn't it? But it's not huge like a dinosaur skull. It was little because it was a lizard skull. It was this guy's great-great-grandpa. And it was his skull that I found. It was tiny. It fit in the palm of my hand. And I loved it. And my mom said, if you love that so much, we better go to the Natural History Museum. And I said, great. What's a Natural History Museum? Because I had never been. I didn't know what a museum was. I was a little kid in Texas. So she took me to the Natural History Museum. We walked through the doors, and the first thing I saw was this. Yeah, the skeleton of a T-Rex. Isn't that a most beautiful T-Rex you've ever seen? And I looked at the skull of that T-Rex, and I said, Mom, it looks like my lizard. She said, I know. So I started to think, what do they have in common? What things does this T-Rex skull have that my lizard skull had? The first thing I noticed is the eye hole, the eye socket. They call it the the ocular orb. That just means the circle where the eye goes. Can you see my cursor circling around that hole? That was the first thing I noticed. And of course, my skull had it too. Do you see where his eye goes? And if you go back to this picture, yeah, there's that same circle, all fleshed out. I said, wow, that's so cool, just like T-Rex. And then I noticed next, of course, I noticed the teeth. Oh, T-Rex has enormous teeth. They are the size of a banana. He needed big tooth because he ate big meat. Big teeth, big meat. He had to hold his dinner still while he tore the meat from the bone, just like when you eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, you tear the meat from the bone too, don't you? So he has very big teeth to eat very big meat. But does my lizard eat big meat? No. My lizard eats insects. And if you notice in his mouth, he's got a grasshopper. He doesn't need big teeth to hold that grasshopper still. He just needs little teeth to pull it inside his mouth, and then his mouth does the rest. He doesn't need big teeth, so he doesn't have big teeth. He has little teeth, do you see? He didn't need the giants. T-Rex needed the big teeth, and he's got them right there so he can hold that meat still and get his belly full. Then I started to wonder, well, if T-Rex eats big meat, does he always go hunting? Or does he sometimes sniff out the meat? Just like you smell that Kentucky Fried Chicken when Mom brings it home. Don't you smell it from your bedroom and go, oh, chicken? T-Rex needed to smell his dinner too. Sometimes he needed to smell it to hunt it and kill it and eat it. But sometimes he just stole the meat from other dinosaurs. If a smaller meat-eating dinosaur had killed a dinosaur to eat, he'd smell that stinky dead body. And he'd go over and he'd say, hey, I'm the biggest dinosaur. You guys can get lost so I can eat your dinner. He needed to smell that meat. So do you see where his nose goes? Can you see my cursor on the screen? It doesn't show on the picture. But do you see where his nose is? Right above his teeth. Do you see where his nose is? Is that a big nose? Or is that a little nose? That's a little nose. Because he doesn't need to smell big stinky meat. He only needs to smell little insects. They don't have a lot of smell. He doesn't need a big old nose. Now, does this guy have ears? He has no sticky out ears, right? But he does have inner ears. Do you see the hole right here on the side of his jaw? That's his ear. And if you look closely at this skull, right here is where all the bits and pieces are that make it possible for him to hear. He needs to hear those grasshoppers so he can sneak up on them. Do you think T-Rex might need to hear the meat he wants to eat? If he's hunting, he does. So let's look over here. Oh, he's got the very same cavity, the very same space for his ear mechanisms. He had good hearing. They had a lot of things in common. And I fell in love with dinosaurs the same way I fell in love with lizards. I never stopped loving them. Sometimes grown-ups do, but I never did. I loved them forever. I still do. So I wrote dinosaur books. This was one of the first. It's called Dinosaur Mummies. And this is about dinosaurs with a little something extra. We're used to thinking of dinosaurs as skeletons like that T-Rex, right? But some dinosaurs are found with soft tissue fossilized. Now, if you're wondering, what the heck is soft tissue? Here's the answer. Everything on your body, your personal body, that's not bone is soft tissue. And it doesn't usually fossilize. But on some dinosaurs, there are bits and pieces that did. That's what this book is about. Dinosaurs that had little bit extra, more than bones. And it was inspired by this guy. His name is Leonardo. And he is not a Ninja Turtle. He is not a famous actor or an Italian inventor. This Leonardo is a plant-eating dinosaur. He's called Brachiosaurus, but that's hard to remember, so we're going to call him a duckbill dinosaur. He's in the plant-eating family of duckbills. Why are they called duckbills? Because of that. Doesn't that look a little bit like a duck? That's why they call them duckbills. You know a famous duckbill dinosaur if you've seen a cartoon movie called Land Before Time, because you might know Ducky. Yep. Remember Ducky? I love Ducky. Ducky is called Ducky because she is a duckbill dinosaur. Sarah was called Sarah because she was a triceratops. Get it? They had little clues into what kind of dinosaur they were. Ducky was a duckbill dinosaur. She was like Leonardo's little sister. And when they found Leonardo, he wasn't just bones. All of his internal organs were fossilized. And they knew he was special because there was skin wrapped around the bones. If there's still skin on the bones, isn't everything underneath it still there too? He was the most complete dinosaur ever found. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records. And I had to write about him. That was the inspiration for one of my first dinosaur books. Then I wrote a true or false dinosaur book. There are a lot of facts in here that you have to decide, well, is it a true fact or a fake fact? Because I want you to be critical thinkers, remember? That means prove it to me. I don't believe you just because you say it's true. I want evidence. So true or false book. So let's try one. True or false? T-Rex had really good breath because he drank lots of fresh water. Do you think that's true? True? False? It's false! Remember those big teeth? Remember that big meat? When he ate that big meat with those big teeth, meat got caught between his teeth. Do you think T-Rex had a toothbrush? Of course not. So that guy had terrible, stinky meat breath. He had terrible breath. So if you have a T-Rex to your sleepover, that's fine. But he might need to sleep outside because he smells bad. We still love him. That's what that book is all about. True or false questions that you can guess the answers. Another dinosaur book was called Dinosaur Parade. A librarian said, hey, listen, can you help elementary school kids know how big dinosaurs are? I said, okay, I'll write a book about it. Now, sometimes people say, that dinosaur is as big as a house. But do we all live in the same house? No. Sometimes they say, that dinosaur is as big as a bus. Which bus? The school bus? What about the daycare bus? Hey, what about the big city bus? That doesn't help. So we decided to have a make-believe parade where dinosaurs are in the picture with kids. Now, kids and dinosaurs never, ever lived together. Dinosaurs came, dinosaurs went extinct. People came a long time later. But just for fun, we had a make-believe parade, and we put people in the pictures with the dinosaurs. Now, these people are not adult size. These people are kid size. So when you see a kid with a dinosaur, you know how big that dinosaur is compared to you. So let's look at some of the pictures. You ready? Who likes the armored dinosaurs? I love them. You know, like Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus, Ankylosaurus, they have armor because they're plant eaters and it protects them against the meat eaters. And these are how big they are compared to you. That's you in the picture. Does that help you see how big they really were? Now, these kids are about 3.5 feet tall, 3 foot 6 inches tall. So you might be a little taller than them. I'm 5 feet tall. So I'm a little taller, but this really helped me understand they were giants. Now, do we have any armored animals today? Oh, yes, we do. We have armadillos. They have armor right in their names. Turtles, of course, they have their own armor. They carry their house. And my favorite armored animal from modern times is this beautiful guy. He is called a pangolin. And he has armor scales all over his body, just like an ankylosaur. And if you're very lucky, you might see this very rare armored animal. If you see it, call me, because I haven't seen it in person yet. The very rare armored squirrel. Yeah. If you see that squirrel, call me. He's not real. He's photoshopped. But it's a good Photoshop, don't you think? He's pretty cute. Hello, Sir Squirrel. Now, these are the head-banging dinosaurs. Pachycephalosaurs. And they bang their heads together. Why? To get a girlfriend. Yep. If you're tough enough to bang your head together, you might be tough enough to have a family. They bang their heads together to get a girlfriend, kind of like why boys play football. That's a little bit true. Not altogether true, but a little bit. Headbangers. Do we have headbangers now? This right here, see what that person's holding? That's a clue. Because yes, we have headbangers today. Bulls bang their heads together. Moose bang their heads together. Caribou bang their heads together. And there's those tough rams. Just like on the TV commercials. They bang their heads together to get a girlfriend. Same reason the dinosaurs did. Headbangers today. Next, let's look at the horned dinosaurs. Ceratopsians, like Triceratops, Sarah. They are huge. Now, you may notice there's some big ones and some little ones. Do you see that there's a little one there? That's not the baby. That's a little ceratopsian. And this is a big ceratopsian. It's kind of like dogs. You know how there's a little tiny Chihuahua dog? And I have a great big Great Dane? They're still adults and babies, but some grow to be big and some stay small. That was true of dinosaurs too. There were the biggest ones and there were the smallest ones. Ceratopsians. Do we have any horned animals today? Well, of course we do. We have the rhinoceros. Yeah, that's a horned animal. What about this guy? He's a horned scarab beetle. Isn't he awesome? He's very beautiful. And I used to catch these lizards when I was a little girl in Texas too. They're called horned lizards. And you know what happens if you catch them and they get scared? They spit blood out of their eyes. Ew, that's disgusting. But it doesn't hurt them. I bet it tastes bad. If you're about to eat that lizard and he spits blood at you, you might not eat him after all. It's an escape help. There are horned animals today. Now, next, let's slip over to the meat eaters. One of our favorite meat eaters are the raptors. That's because of a movie called Jurassic Park. Raise your hand if you've seen Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. I love those movies. And these are the raptors from Jurassic Park. Now, they come in big and little too. The biggest one is here, and the smallest one is here. And this one's pulling a wheelchair. Yay, lucky girl in the wheelchair gets pulled by this raptor. Now, they are famous for this claw on their foot. Do you see where my cursor is? Nature gave them those claws to go hunting with. And they had to go hunting. They were not big like T-Rex. They had to catch their meat. So nature gave them these dangerous claws. And here is a better look at the bones of a raptor's foot. Here's his ankle, normal toe, normal toe, normal toe, raptor claw. There's his hunting claw. Does that give you a better look at it? Now, let's think about Jurassic Park, that movie. Now, is this boy really in danger? Were there really raptors in the room with him? No, because kids and dinosaurs never ever lived together. This was a fictional movie, make-believe movie. It was a great movie, but it wasn't real. So those are special effects. That's like Photoshop. They added the dinosaurs later, so he's just playing make-believe. He looks scared though, doesn't he? I was scared when I watched the movie. Now, they told us in Jurassic Park that these were velociraptors. And they told us they were 6 feet tall. But they lied to us. Because velociraptors are not 6 feet tall. Velociraptors are about the size of a German Shepherd dog. And their hunting claws are not huge like the ones you saw tapping on the counter. Their claws were only this big. How big is that? Let me show you a picture. Only this big. They made them bigger for the movie because it was scarier because they were bigger. And we forgave them because we like to get scared. But they weren't nearly as dangerous as they looked in the movies. Now, if this German Shepherd's head killer still lived, I'd be afraid because it could chase me and it could eat me. But they weren't as big as the ones in the movie. But the same year they made the very first Jurassic Park movie, they found a brand new raptor called Utah Raptor. And Utah Raptor was the same size as the dinosaurs in the movie. They made it up and it turned out to be real. And their claws were this big. And let me show you a picture. That big. It's that bigger than the little claw you saw before. Yes, it's much bigger next to the quarter. And for a long time, Utah Raptor was the biggest raptor. But about 2 years ago, they found a new raptor called Dakota Raptor. Dakota Raptor was between 10 and 12 feet tall. It was a huge raptor, and that hunting claw on his foot, it was this big. Let me show you a better picture. That big. That is a huge raptor claw. I'm so glad they don't still live with us. Now, do you remember I showed you this ankle claw? Would you like to see the ankle of a Dakota Raptor? You ready for it? Oh, check it out. Isn't that amazing? Normal toe, hunting claw. Raptors were amazing, weren't they? I love raptors. Now, do we have raptors still today? Yes, we do. We call them birds of prey. They even call them raptors. They are related to the raptors from the dinosaur age. Now, their claws look a little different inside their feet. Look, see how they look a little different? But look what happens when you take the claw out of the foot. What does that look like? Doesn't that look like this? It looks just like it. Because they are related. Birds are modern dinosaurs. They were raptors, eagles, hawks, owls, all raptor birds related to the raptor dinosaurs. Now, next, paleontologists, dinosaur scientists found a mystery claw. And it was curved like a raptor claw. But look how big it was. Holy cow, they thought, could that be another raptor? Is that possible? So they searched and searched for more bones with the claw. And they found out this was not on a raptor's toe. No, no, no. This was on a dinosaur's fingers. It wasn't used for slashing through meat. It was used to dig up roots. This was from Therizinosaurus. See his fingers? They were huge dinosaurs with bloodthirsty claws that weren't bloodthirsty at all. They used them to dig up roots. Do you eat roots? Yes, you do. Have you ever had a carrot or a beet or radishes or potatoes? You've had French fries. Then you eat roots too. Those are roots that we eat. They eat the roots too. And bugs. They eat bugs sometimes. Now we love T-Rex, right? T-Rex did not need raptor claws. He did not need slashing claws to cut up his meat. T-Rex needed claws to hold the meat still so he could take a bite. He had different claws. Would you like to see a T-Rex claw? There you go. That's a T-Rex foot. And that's what a T-Rex claw looked like. More like a dog's claw, right? Thick, heavy, beefy. And they are closely related to a living animal. It's an animal I'm sure you've heard of. The best and closest relative to a Tyrannosaurus Rex is the dangerous, bloodthirsty rooster. Yeah, chickens. Chickens are the direct relation to T-Rex. They are the closest relation we have on Earth. Look at the chicken foot. Does that not look like your T-Rex's foot? Birds are modern dinosaurs. Next time you look at a chicken strolling around, look closely at his feet. They look just like dinosaurs. I had chickens for many years because they reminded me of dinosaurs. Now, I wrote a book about baby dinosaurs. It was called Hatchlings, Life-Size Baby Dinosaurs. Now, plant-eating dinosaurs came out of round eggs. Meat-eating dinosaurs came out of oblong eggs, kind of like if you take the round and smush it, like a hot dog bun. And one of the plant eaters we love was Littlefoot from Land Before Time. He was a sauropod, a long-necked dinosaur. This little sauropod is a Saltosaurus, and he was a plant eater. His mother was huge, so huge she might not fit in your backyard. But when that baby was born, it wasn't huge. When that baby long-necked dinosaur hatched out of its round egg, it was about the size of a kitten, of a little kitten. It was a very small baby with a very large mom and dad. Small babies. Now, here's another plant eater. Remember those armored dinosaurs? This is baby Stegosaurus. Baby Stegosaurus was a plant eater, so she came out of a round egg. And when that baby hatched, do you see this little foot? Can you see my cursor? That little foot with 1, 2, 3 toes. Do you see that? 1, 2, 3. That little foot was so small, it would fit on a quarter. And if you look very closely at this picture with the quarter, you will see the footprint of a baby Stegosaurus. Let's trace around it. Can you see my cursor? Let's go. 1 toe, 2 toes, 3 toes. And there's the back of the foot. Can you see it? Let's go one more time. 1 toe, 2 toes, 3 toes. That baby Stegosaurus was tiny. I wish I could have a pet baby Stegosaurus, but I wish it would always stay baby size. They'd be very cute. They could mow your lawn. I love baby Stegosaurus. Now, meat eaters came out of those oblong eggs. And one of our favorite meat eaters is the Tyrannosaur, right? Baby T-Rex. We've never found a baby T-Rex egg, but we have found its Chinese cousin, Tarbosaurus. And Tarbosaurus eggs were about the size of a football. And when that baby T-Rex hatched, it was about the size of a fully grown house cat. What? That's pretty small for a dinosaur that gets huge and ferocious. Baby T-Rex is about the size of your cat. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Now I have one more fossil to share with you, and it's a silly fossil. It's called a coprolite. Some people say coprolite. Either one is correct. This is a coprolite. So is this, the one I'm holding in my hand. This is what it looked like when they took it out of the ground. They cut it open and polished it to see what was inside it. And when this was brand new 77 million years ago, it was stinky. Because this is dinosaur poop. Yes, I have poop in my hair. Oh no. Dinosaur poopy. That's what coprolites are. They find them. This is plant eater poop. Meat eater poop is a little different. Want to see more poop fossils? Here are polished dinosaur poop. Very beautiful. Yes. Here is the biggest dinosaur poop ever found. It was found in Saskatchewan, Canada. 17 inches long. It's T-Rex poop. This is a marble made of dinosaur poop. And the next time you get dressed up really fancy, go to church or out to dinner or party, make sure you wear your dinosaur poop necklace. I wish I had that necklace. I love that poop necklace. It's beautiful. Now, a first grader wrote me this note. She said, I like the dinosaur poopy from Brittany. Thank you, Kelly. And she drew a Stegosaurus. Oh, uh-oh. It's going poop. He's making new fossils. That's what I say to grown-ups. It's a Stegosaurus making new fossils. And he's pooping. Oh, my. Now, dinosaurs are gone, except for the birds. They went extinct when that terrible asteroid hit down in Mexico and caused huge commotion all over the world. It was a horrible time, and it wiped out most of the dinosaurs. But they left their fossils behind, and those were our clues. Now, did you notice when I showed you these fossils that they looked like they'd been glued together? Like they were broken all over the place? That's because they were. Sometimes when you find a fossil in the ground, you can tell it used to be one piece like this one, but it's been broken by time and weather. And so the paleontologists glue them back together. And if you have a good copy of a good dinosaur fossil, they should look like they've been glued together, because they usually are. So if you ever go looking for dinosaur bones, don't expect them to be in one piece. Look for things that look like a puzzle. That's what some of them look like. And that's what the dinosaur eggs look like. Now, they left behind those fossils, and our scientists have been able to guess what they looked like. And aren't you glad that they can? Because there's a mama T-Rex with her baby, and she probably had feathers. The newer fossils show feathers. So next time you're outside, keep your eyes to the ground. See if you can find a dinosaur fossil of your own. And thanks for coming. Now, does anybody have any questions? We can talk now. We have time to talk. I can unshare. How do I unshare this? Yes, I did it right. Miss Evans, you taught me well. So let's unmute, and now we can talk. Anybody have any questions about dinosaurs? Or anything?
When the dinosaurs